Please be advised, the following presentation is not intended for minors.
As I said in my video discussing Quake's deathmatching, Quake is known more for its high-octane and frantic PvP more so than its story. However, I do believe that the campaign of Quake is slept on, at least a little bit. In this video, I hope to gather my thoughts into one place so others can maybe give this game's single-player or co-op mode a chance. While it may have made sense for me to do it, I'm not going to do a level-by-level analysis of the game. If you are interested in that, though, then I'd recommend you check out Civvy11's video on Quake, simply titled Pro Quake, in all caps. He also goes more into depth about the game's development and importance, which is always fun to learn about. Anyways, on to the video, but as always, thank you for watching. Quake's story is very simple, even by early video game standards. An enemy named Quake is sending monsters through prototype slip gates developed by the government in order to conquer our dimension. You have to save the world by going to these different dimensions and fighting the forces of Quake. See? Simple. The main line of Quake 1 has 4 Doom-like episodes to its campaign: the Dimension of the Doomed, the Realm of Black Magic, the Netherworld, and the Elder World. Once you beat all 4 episodes, you'll unlock the final level, where you fight the final boss. The thing I like about Quake's 4 difficulty settings, yes, 4, is that they all feel different and don't just artificially increase the difficulty by increasing the damage they deal or the damage that they take. To paraphrase Civvy's video, though, Quake enemies were made a bit more spongy to compensate for not being able to put 200 of them in the map, a la Doom 2. After all, now we're working with full 3D models instead of sprites. The way that difficulty increases in this game makes enemies do more damage, yes, but it also gives you more enemies to fight. To deal with the increased numbers of monsters and enemies, the player has to get better at movement and prioritizing certain enemies. There are 3 difficulties in Quake: easy, normal, and hard. Is what I'd say if you just play the game normally. However, there's a secret, hidden difficulty: Nightmare. In addition to even more enemies than before, certain enemies can attack faster to really ramp up the difficulty. I really like this method of difficulty increase, as it not only demands more skill of the player, but the new enemy placements keep you on your toes. It's quite surprising to see a Shambler pop up in an area where you weren't expecting him. Now, what's a Shambler, you may be wondering? Well, it's a perfect segue into talking about the enemies of Quake. The earliest enemies you'll probably see in the game are the Grunts and Rottweilers. The Grunt is your typical hit-scan enemy with a shotgun, while Rottweilers rush you down and try to tear your throat out. They're not too big of a deal. The first big enemy to take note of is the Ogre. While not green and smelling of onions, he does have a grenade launcher. Yes, a grenade launcher. This is the 3rd enemy in the game, and he has a grenade launcher. They're plentiful on Hard and Nightmare, and really love to spam their grenades on the latter difficulty. Just think of the Demo Man from Team Fortress 2, and that's this guy. The next enemy is the Scrag, your basic flying enemy. They spit little projectiles of acid or something at you. Not really a big threat, but you want to get rid of them so you don't take chip damage while you're roaming the map or fighting other bad guys. Next, there's the aptly named Knight. He's a knight. He's got a sword and wants to slice your head off with it. On to the next one. The Zombie. A slow, bumbling fool that throws what I can assume to be chunks of meat or flesh at you. Being a zombie, if you just shoot one, it'll go down but get right back up. You gotta explode these guys to get rid of them, and boy is it satisfying. Getting the last fodder enemy out of the way, the Rot Fish. It's a fish that wants to eat you. Next one. The Enforcer can be seen as either a side grade or upgrade to the normal Grunt. now possessing a plasma gun that shoots projectiles at you. However, this means you can dodge their fire. The Spawn is a late-game enemy that is a son of a bitch to deal with. They're little slime guys that make a disgusting noise as they hop around and just bonk you. Careful when you kill them though, as they explode when they die. Now, on to some of the head honchos. These are the ones to look out for. The first of the really problematic guys in Quake is the Death Knight, a more powerful and spongy version of the normal Knight. This time though, he can swipe his sword to send a series of fiery projectiles at you. A nuisance, but pretty easy to deal with in comparison to these next three cuties. The Fiend is a fairly fast demon who loves to lunge at you at high speeds. They often show up in conjunction with other enemies, be it some lesser ones, more fiends, or even a Shambler. The Shambler is probably Quake's most iconic enemy. Giant, boasting a deadly electric attack, and fluffy, they're the guys you need to be the most careful of throughout the game. And yes, they are fluffy. See, in this one interview, John Romero said that they're shaggy. I mean, take a look at this guy. Ain't he just adorable? And anyways, onto the last main enemy in Quake 1. The Vore, yes, the Vore is a bastard that is in some ways more terrifying than the Shambler, and not just a name. The Vore shoots these homing projectiles at you. When I say homing, they home in on you. These things have ridiculously good tracking, basically forcing you to duck around corners to fight them. Why would you? Because these fireballs do pretty sizable damage. It also doesn't help that they're only behind the Shamblers when it comes to sheer amounts of health. These guys are tough bastards. Granted, they only show up in the latter half of the game as occasional mini-bosses, but they're still a giant nuisance for that time frame. Plus, they're named Vore. Why are they called a Vore? Thankfully, that's all the enemies in the game. I suppose I can talk a bit about the weapons, since I didn't really do that in my deathmatch video. To start off, you have your axe. Don't use it. Next up, your shotgun. It's fine, but the double-barreled super shotgun is better in 90% of cases. The double-barreled shotgun, or the super shotgun if you play Doom, is a high-damaging, close-quarters weapon. It fires 2 shells at once, but as long as you aren't firing it willy-nilly, you should have decent ammo at all times. Then, you have the nail gun. Instead of a normal assault rifle, the nail gun fires projectiles instead of hit-scan tracers. You see, when you make one of the first really big 3D FPS games, you want to show off as much 3D tech as you can, so 3D projectiles it is. The aptly named Super Nail Gun is just that, a nail gun with super. Just like the Super Shotgun, it uses 2 ammo at once. Unlike the SSG, however, this thing tears through ammo like tissue paper. It does do damage, however, and is probably your best bet for mowing down some of the tougher enemies in the game. The grenade launcher is essentially one-to-one with a pill launcher from Team Fortress. It shoots out little grenades that bounce for a bit, then explode. Once you learn its arc, it feels great to lob these at bad guys and explode them. The second to last weapon, which can sometimes become your main weapon in a playthrough, is the rocket launcher. It shoots fairly fast projectiles that do a good amount of damage on most enemies, save for the explosion-resistant ones. The really great thing with this rocket launcher, though, is rocket jumping. You take less damage from it than you'd expect, so you can really fly around arenas if you know what you're doing. The final weapon of base game Quake is the lightning gun. It shoots out a bolt of lightning, similar to a Shambler, and goddamn can it do damage! According to the Quake wiki, it can kill a Shambler in 2 seconds. 2 seconds! With quad damage, you can do it in half a second! And that is it for the enemies and weapons you'll come across in Quake. On to the final part of the video, the campaign itself, as well as co-op play. At a surface level, Quake's campaign really isn't anything impressive by today's standards. I mean, it's pretty dang short as well. You can probably beat it on normal or hard in under 4 hours or something like that if you know what you're doing. The thing that makes this campaign unique in my eyes, though, is the phenomenal level design, great ambience, and using simplicity to its advantage. In just about every level, you take routes that make sense. You don't get lost. You understand what to do, where to go, etc. For a game that hardly ever tells you anything explicitly in regards to what to do in order to progress, it's very clear what to do at all times. Granted, 95% of the time it's just shooting things, but I digress. That 5% of the time where you're solving a shooting puzzle or do a Dark Souls puzzle of door won't open, grab key, door now open. It's good. I like it. Wait, did I just... Am I becoming parasitical? I'm referencing Dark Souls. I have an inconsistent upload schedule. I'm a commentary channel. I like Breaking Bad. Oh, fuck. Am I... I can't fucking do this. I can't do this bit. I have in my script, fuck this bit. I hate it. I don't know why I put it in, but here it is. Like and subscribe for a shitty American version of Pyrocynical. The other thing about the campaign of Quake is that each episode follows very similar trends of level theming. You start out with brown tech bases and then progress to brown castles, and then well, that's just sort of it. A lot of brown. Yeah, Quake doesn't really have a lot of variety when it comes to locales. At least mainline Quake. I haven't gotten into the expansions yet. College and all that jazz. Despite this flaw, though, I still find the maps of Quake pretty enjoyable. I think it's in part because of their brief nature, each one taking under 5 minutes usually. Even on the rare occasion that one takes you a while to figure out, it'll only take you like 15 minutes, tops. But however long you're inside those levels, you're exposing yourself to something important, something every game needs, and something Quake has mastered. The ambience, or ambiance. Whichever have you. Tomato, tomato. Quake's soundtrack is drastically different from what you're expecting. You're probably assuming it's got some kick-ass industrial metal going, like Doom or Half-Life, or something medieval-inspired. But no. Instead, you got droning ambience. It's honestly almost haunting. While the soundtrack was done expertly by Nine Inch Nails and works wonders at establishing a dismal land of horrors and monsters, there's one good thing that any game can do to throw away any and all tension: add cooperative multiplayer. Now, don't get me wrong, I love co-op games, and I love split-screen co-op, which I love that they brought back for this remaster. However, I think it's fair to me to say that any kind of co-op can absolutely obliterate any tone or tension a game is going for. Allow me to explain. So, I was just talking about the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack, right? Well, in single player, you're much more likely to listen to it. You don't have friends talking in your ears or side by side to you. However, in co-op, you're likely talking to your buddies and shooting the shit, having a blast, instead of listening to their music. It's basically universally accepted that co-op makes horror games less scary, since you're just not going in by yourself. While I don't think many, if anyone, would categorize Quake as a horror game, it does have elements of Lovecraftian horror, most notably with the designs of the Fiend, Shambler, Chthon, and Shove. Any effect those designs would have in terms of unnerving you is very likely going to be cancelled out by your party's banter. Hell, me and my buddies even took the absolute piss out of the Fiend, with my friend Jute dubbing him the Dentist after the pronounced teeth that the Fiend has. How the hell am I supposed to take the Fiend seriously whenever I see one of us instinctively screams, "It's the Dentist!" Again, this is not me knocking Quake's co-op. I love it to death, actually. It's some of the most fun in any cooperative game I've had in recent memory. The best way to view it is, it's a different experience to single player. While single player leaves you with a sense of dread and even nervousness about what's behind the next corner, anticipating your next battle with your finger on the trigger, co-op throws that out the window and basically gives you and your buds some ketamine and you go nuts. I seriously can't recommend trying co-op enough, though. Honestly, I can't recommend Quake's re-release enough either. Coupling the amazing deathmatches with a pretty good co-op experience, it's definitely worth the, what, $10 it costs? It's fantastic. Seriously, it's fantastic. Well, that wraps up this video. Sorry it took so long to make. I'm adjusting to college life and meeting old and new friends and all that life stuff. It also doesn't help that I got Guilty Gear Strive recently, and I've been playing that quite a bit instead of working on the script. Or, inevitably, instead of editing this video. Maybe I'll do a video on Strive down the line. That should be fun. Anyways, thank you all for watching this far, and thank you for helping me reach 130 subscribers, now 140 by the time I'm recording the script, and have an absolutely amazing day.
Show me your...
Oh, shit.
Hey, stand me here.
Wait, is it in a normal area? Whoa! It's a pussycat for me.
Oh god,
Damn, Sean, you should shut up.
Nah, bro, I pee with it.
Hey, Obed?
Oh god?
You some kind of limited edition?
Oh god, a high school, bro. I'm about to cream! I'm about to cream! Let's go! Whoa, watch out! I'm messing with my penis after midnight. Oh! Baby! What is that?
That's Shub.
Why does she look so cute, though?
I don't know.
I kinda don't want to kill her, bro. Oh, nice. The best song just came on.
Gargle these nuts.
Oh, nice! What is that Shambler doing?
Gargling these nuts?
Bro, I would... He look like Minecraft Steve.
You have beaten the hideous Shub and her hundreds of ugly
Shub what, Dan?
changelings and monsters. You have proven that your skill and your
Now I really want to know what that means.
greater than all
Wait, you hadn't heard it this whole time?
of Quake.
I've just been hearing shove.
You are the master.
You said it earlier.
In software salutes you.
Go ahead, Dan. Say the full name. I'll give you the... I'll give you the forbidden pass.
Shub.
Why is that the name?
Because that's a
Bro,
Lovecraft chose.
Lovecraft was racist, bro. You want to hear the name of his cat?